Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Cooper Gretsch, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours, and results. A very loaded show for you guys and girls today. We will have the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Banging. There'll be three things I'll be banging on about, and they include the Melbourne Gold Coast umpiring 8 non-free kicks in Gold Coast's advantage that didn't go their way, went Melbourne's way. And even in 6 of those 8, the commentators were very pissed off that Gold Coast didn't get frees from it. Luke Beveridge's treatment of Toby McLean last round when he was a medical sub. Now, I know it was last round, but he obviously played twos this week, but I forgot to mention it last week, so I'm going to mention it in Scoops of Being today. And the AFL 23 game faults. A lot of people are angry about it and giving their opinions on it a lot, and I'll talk about that soon. We'll also go through my team of the week, review the rounds that's gone and upcoming, Scoops medal, Supercoach talk, and some other news if there's any to go through. First off, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, an engagement, wedding, something at all. Footy tipping competitions, you want me to roast someone about them being dead last or something like that. Anything at all. Cameo.com/Cooper G. Please leave a like on this video if you haven't already. Want to aim for 20 likes for this episode of Kick It to Scoops. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Got just under 2,100 subscribers, so I would greatly appreciate if you just hit the sub button. You're watching, you really should be subbed. I never understand why the numbers are so low in terms of viewers that are non-subscribers are more non-subscribers are more the viewers are more of non-subscribers than they are subscribers, which I find very interesting. So go check us sub. I would really, really appreciate it. Now it's time to first off talk about the ladder. Now, obviously, the Pies are on top, followed by the Demons, and followed by, you guessed it, the Saints. Saints got the win. Yes, we've got to keep a lid on it. We'll get to the game. It was a 30-point win over North Melbourne. It's one of those games where you just take the points and move on. I'll get to that shortly. And this week is the return of All Hail the King. Max King will be back for the Saints this week. So pumped about that. All Hail the King is back. Max King. Now, it is time to go through some news, first of all. 3 suspensions during the weekend. Jacob Van Rooyen got a 2-week ban for the hit on Charlie Ballard. They're contesting the 2-week suspension there. It's a bit of a tough one, to be fair. I mean, did he mean to hurt him? Probably not. But then again, it's not what you tried. Look at Nathan Murphy-Caminiti thing. Caminiti tried to get him in the stomach region and shove him off, where he ducked and accidentally got him in the head with his elbow, and he got 3 weeks for it. Rubbish decision, but it happened. So that's just one example. So Ballard may not have, Van Rooyen may have not tried to hurt Ballard, but he did. And they're contesting it, so it'll be interesting to see tomorrow night how that goes. Brad Close from Geelong was copped a week suspension for his sling tackle on Jordan Dawson. And there was another one. Nick Newman got a week for that on Lockie Neal. And they're all being contested, those 3 suspensions. And Junior Rioli, as of this recording, there's no suspension for Junior Rioli. The Ridley got subbed out, apparently, because of the injury. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there with Junior Rioli. Now it's time for the world famous segment. Scoops goes bang. Now, while I get into Scoops Goes Bang, I've got something very important to tell you guys. Oh boy. Hello, this is Cooper speaking. What's that? There's a late edition. Is there? Scoops Goes Bang, there's another edition. It's time for that world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang! Boom. Oh boy. The Melbourne Gold Coast 8 non-umpiring calls in the last quarter alone. This is not even throughout the whole game. In the last quarter alone, I counted 8 blatant free kicks that Gold Coast should have got, or should have, it should have gone in their favour, right? They should have free for dropping the ball, but getting thrown out. And there's some examples I want to go through. Now, people are going to say, oh, Darcy McPherson missed a goal late, 45 out from slot to no angle. Yeah, he did. But that shouldn't have counted. Well, that shouldn't have mattered. They should have already been ahead at that stage when McPherson missed. Gold Coast dominated the play. They dominated the game. But there's some instances, again, I would show all 8 examples on the show. But I can't because you'll get bloody copyrighted. So there was 3 that come to mind off the top of my head right now still. Levi Casbolt twice supposedly gave away a free kick. All right. And one of them was from a behind the play incident that the cameras never really even caught, really. You can see a long distance shot about 100 metres away. Now you can say, oh, well, Casbolt knocked someone behind play. No, he didn't. Because they've shown the footage, albeit a long shot. No one was on the ground. Casbolt didn't hit anyone. You just see them looking like they were yelling at each other or saying stuff. How was it downfield? Now, Ben Long had the key out for the Suns. Scorn was on the mark in the goal square from behind. And then this incident supposedly happened. That was ridiculous. Now, I know if there's a downfield free, you have to pay it to where the ball is. So that I would get that part. But where was the free in that? Like, seriously. Another one, Marbiol Chol. End of the game, just before Darcy McPherson had a shot. Max Gawn gave him the biggest 2-hand shove I've ever seen. He piffed him in the air. You would think freaking Chol was doing the hurdles that you do at the Olympics. But he wasn't. He was shoved over by Gawn. 2-handed. And Gary Lyon, I think it was, and Dunstall. Jason Dunstall was one of the commentators in this. He was flabbergasted. He was pissed. And he's got no part in this game. He goes for the Hawks. And even if he did, who cares? It was blatantly obvious. There was 8 free kicks that Gold Coast should have got or were in their favour, and they did not get. Melbourne got handed the game. I'm sorry to tell you that, Demons fans. You got handed the game. Gold Coast outplayed you, and the only thing that outplayed the Gold Coast is the umpires. I don't know how many weeks I'm going to talk about how shit the umpiring is. It is beyond a joke. If you're watching that Gold Coast Melbourne game and you're telling me that Gold Coast weren't robbed, you've got no idea. Now, I had about 50 comments or more on my post about the Gold Coast Melbourne game where I mentioned this and said it cost them the game essentially. And not one person disagreed with me. Not one. And there's a lot of trolls that normally comment on posts like that. Not one comment was disagreeing with me. So, the AFL need to come out. I'm going to keep on saying this. They need to come out and say their umpiring was shit. All 4 of those umpires should be dropped immediately. All 4 of them. All 4. Useless. Hacks. Should be dropped. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Those 4 umpires, I think Jacob Mollison was the main umpire in that game. 3 younger or unknown names. Like, seriously. Really. Pathetic. You screwed the Gold Coast Suns out of that game. I don't care what people say. That if they say that it didn't cost them the game, it did. 8 ridiculous calls in Melbourne's favour in that last quarter alone. Ridiculous. I was watching it going, what the flip is going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ridiculous, blatant, non-calls or against Gold Coast calls that weren't there. All Gold Coasters in those 8 instances should have been in their favour. The commentators said 6 of the 8 that I said were bullshit. They even had to go at it. They weren't sugarcoating it. They're like, nah, this is not good. Oh, how could you not do that? Oh, they've been robbed there. They've been screwed over there. All comments like Dunstall and the commentators made on that call, on that game. It was a joke. I'm still pissed off at it because the AFL won't admit they're wrong. Now, they've lately last week, the Ash Johnson thing and the DeGoey thing and the Nathan Murphy shove. They said, oh, yeah, the Nathan Murphy one, it wasn't the right call. What about the Ash Johnson one and the DeGoey thing? Admit the whole lot. You just going, oh, yeah, see, guys, we apologise. A bit late for that. And this one, you want to make a statement up. Clearly, you're not going to reverse the results, which you should. I know you won't. So how about you make a statement up? I don't care how many umpires short you are or how many you got. Jack Mollison and the other 3 clowns in that game dropped. I would say sack them. As I know a few guys in chat and recently in these live streams have been saying about the umpires they should get the boot and sacked. They should be. How can they keep getting away with this? As people know, if you stuff up in your own job, you probably get suspended, fired, sacked, whatever. And these umpires make mistake after mistake after mistake, and they're still umpiring every week and getting paid handsomely. It's crap. Mollison and the 3 other idiots, get out of the game. You shouldn't be umpiring no more. Now, I had some people say, oh, you should umpire then if you think you're better than them. Oh, I know I'd be better than them. I mean, it wouldn't take much to be better than them. All you would have to do is give the correct calls, and they don't know how to. And I don't know what you want to call that Melbourne game, but that was the worst umpiring I've ever seen of recent time. And I've seen some favoured games favouring Geelong and the Bulldogs very much. But this game was single-handedly the most ridiculous umpiring I've ever seen recently. Lift your game! Andrew Dillon, make a stand. You're the new CEO, even if Gill's technically still in charge. Do something about this rubbish. And drop all 4. Ridiculous. Now, Luke Beveridge's treatment of Toby McLean. Don't know if you guys noticed this, but Toby McLean in round 7, the last round just gone was 8. So in round 7, it took that long for a player that was named the tactical sub for the first time this year that did not come on. Now, granted, you could say, oh, but why do they need to have to be on just for the sake of it? No, they don't, really. But I just find it very coincidental. It's Toby McLean, someone that Beveridge isn't the greatest fan of, and he made him just sit on the bench all day. In the game, late in the game, had he came on the last 15, 20 minutes, the result wasn't going to change to what it was for the Bulldogs against Freo in Perth, like in that game. Why didn't they not just put him on? They were up by 40 points. They won by around that margin. Couldn't you put him on with 10 minutes to go? Like, I just thought that was very poor. And Beveridge does have his favourites, and there's his players he just doesn't like. Riley West, prime example, doesn't like Scott West, his dad. Doesn't seem to like Riley. He had some solid games last year when he played, still got dropped. And he's nowhere to be seen this year. And he's not injured. So, am I surprised? No, I'm not. No, I'm not surprised. No, I'm not. Now, also, the AFL 23 game. Oh, boy. Now, I haven't played the game this year, and don't plan to play any games for that matter, right? But I've seen footage, I've seen reviews, I've seen everything. I've seen the gameplay. I've essentially played it without playing it. I've seen people play the games. The glitches galore. You've seen all the photos online about there's a bench on the field and stuff like that. The stats aren't up properly. Tackling is weird, or sometimes doesn't work. These patches they were meant to do, etc. And it's shit still, apparently. I asked a few content creators that. Like, first of all, you delay the game upon a delay. You delay it after another delay. So you thought, well, okay, if you're delaying it again, well, that's ridiculous to begin with. You set a date for a release date. You put it out on that date. Now you're going to say, well, hang on, you're contradicting yourself maybe here by saying that rush the game, but if it's not ready, don't put it out. Or no, you plan a date to get it out. You fix everything you need to do by that deadline. And then you delayed it to, like, Gather Round was meant to come out, and then it was like 2 weeks later or a week or two later. And the game is still bad. Like, seriously. How can you say it's a good game and pump up the game? You get content creators making videos for you before the public release and saying how good it is. It's great. It's great. It's great. And they don't show all the little faults in the game. And they say how good it was and, like stuff like that. It's not good. It's crap. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't really worry me anymore because, as I said, I'm not going to be playing these games anymore. Or any games for that matter. But still, don't put out a release date, then delay it, and the game is still crap. Put in the effort to complete the game properly. There's always going to be minor bugs, but these aren't minor bugs. These are huge bugs. The whole game's a bug about people saying it's crashing repeatedly. I've seen some content creators have a crash control or something in their videos showing how many times it's going to crash while they're streaming. And it's multiple times, game after game after game. Some people can't even finish games before it crashes. Going in the first quarter, the third quarter, just before the siren goes. Like, these are not just minor glitches. These are huge glitches, and they need to figure this out immediately. You set a release date, you delayed it, then it's still shit. Really, you're not putting any effort in. I see some of the people that were at the gaming place and everything that got the game early in the video saying it was great. When they played it, they don't know why it's like this. Just stop making excuses for it. Just say it's shit. I mean, just be honest. Like, the game is not good. What I'm saying, at all. So, to the people that make the game, lift your game. Pathetic. Now, you heard the ring-a-ding-ding sound before, that phone ring. It's a late edition. It's the two things, actually. Damien Hardwick, Cane Corns, John Longmire, and Collingwood fans. Now, the Collingwood fans. First of all, you say about the Ginnivan thing, you didn't like people being booed for the things. Fair enough, whatever. And now you're going to boo Buddy? What are you booing Buddy for? And don't give me that spill that he hasn't played at the MCG against us for 12 years, 13 years, whatever the hell it is, 10 years. Does it matter? Like, what did he do? Did he destroy you for so long? Some people are saying that's an excuse. No, it's not an excuse. Now, the Horn Francis thing, I said last week, only North Melbourne fans have the right to boo. What did Franklin do to Collingwood? Absolutely nothing. So Longmire is correct. It's ridiculous, and the Pies fans need to lift their game. Now, the Daicos treatment as well, from Sydney's end side of things. Now, there's putting contact and pressuring your opponent and trying to put them off, but then there's going a bit too far. Elbowing him from behind. I see Josh Daicos earlier was not happy. Well, it is his brother, but still, doesn't matter. It's not really on. There's a line across Papley doing stuff as well. Like, Pap's great player. Just get that out of your game. All right. But you can keep bumping him and that. But to elbow and do things like that, it's just stupid. It's not necessary. All right. Of course, you want respect back to Buddy, which he should have. Don't do that. That just doesn't help your cause. Especially to the same team you're trying to get the people that were booing Franklin to not do. It just doesn't really look great either way. And the Cane Corns Damien Hardwick thing, like, Damien Hardwick sulks about anyone these days. Richmond aren't going well. He blames the umpires, the stadiums, the venues, something. And now he's just having back and forth the Cane Corns. Dimmer, I think it's time for you to leave Richmond. Plain and simple. If you don't want to leave at the end of the year, I think you're going to get the boot anyway. I think your time's up at Richmond. Yes, you had the 3-peat and everything like that. Great. Your time's up. Your time is not now. Your time is up at Richmond. So, and the Cane Corns thing about Horn Francis thing, still, like, seriously? You're saying you don't do things for clicks? Really, Kane? Really? For someone that's admired your work for a long time, and now to say you don't do things for clicks, do you do it all the time for clicks? No. This Horn Francis thing is just proving you're doing it for clicks. The ice bar thing, stuff like that. And plenty of people have been saying there's plenty of things they could list off. But that's just the main one that comes to me right now. Horn Francis thing's partly because of you. Is it your fault fully? No. It's the fans of the non-North Melbourne that are booing him. It's ridiculous. But they play each other soon, so that's going to be interesting to see how you react to that. To the Roos fan, to the Kane, lift your game. Hope you guys enjoy that long edition of the world famous segment. Scoops goes bang. Alrighty, now it's time to go through my round 8 AFL team of the week. Alrighty, from the back line, the pockets, Jack Zeeble and Robbie Fox. Full back, Cal Wilkie. Half back line, the flankers, Lockie Whitfield and Hayden Young. Centre half back, Connor Iden. Wingers, Josh Kelly and Andy Brayshaw. Centreman, Noah Anderson. Half forward line, the flankers, Josh Dunkley and Zach Bailey. Centre half forward, Brody Myercheck. Forward pockets, Charlie Cameron and Malcolm Roses. Full forward, Oscar Allen. Ruckman, Tim English. Rovers, Tom Green and Errol Goulden. Interchange, Darcy Parish, Shai Bolton, Matt Rao, and Dion Prestia. Sub, Tim Taranto. And the emergencies, Will Powell, Adam Chera, Jacob Hopper, Darcy McPherson, and Nick Haynes. Reasons. Now, this may sound a little controversial with Jack Zeeble. Big numbers, had like 18 marks, 36 disposals. You would feel that, yeah, just have to put him in. Now, granted, he didn't have the greatest 36 possession game. A lot of them were chipping sideways and didn't have a man on him. But then he had some good play around it from time to time. Wasn't his best game, but I'll still put him in. Because they're just numbers you can't ignore. You can't ignore it. But when I go through the game a bit more in detail, I'll talk about Jack Zeeble, but he's in there now. Forward pocket, back pocket, Robbie Fox, 23 odd disposals for a key position defender. It's a utility, but he's playing as a key defender. Had a good game, so he deserves a spot on the team. Cal Wilkie, how good is this guy? 28 possessions, key defender, intercept mark. I tell you now, he's the only saint in this team for a reason. Now, there were some others that were solid, but for dominant performance, he was the only one. That 30-point game yesterday was thanks to Cal Wilkie. No one else. Just Cal Wilkie. Great. Larkey was on Howard. Wilkie was on Zerha and a few others. He done really well. Intercept marks. North Melbourne were heading forward. Cal was there to intercept or to spoil or something like that. He was there to be part of the chain. He was absolutely phenomenal. Deserves a spot. He's the All-Australian fullback right now. Or he's in the back six. There's no shadow of a doubt. There's no debate. He's been the best defender all year. Don't give me your Tom Stewarts and your Levers and Mays and Barasses. It's Sam Collinses and that. It's Cal Wilkie by far. No, he's by the length of the Flemington Straight the best defender this year, bar none. No one is better than Cal Wilkie right now in the defence. Lockie Whitfield, 31 disposals, halfback wing, done a great job. Connor Iden, 29s, played a good role in the Bulldogs. Well, Norton didn't have a good game. Kicked 2 good goals late. Well, not good goals, but 2 goals late. But overall, Iden was the better player. Hayden Young, he's a great ball user, Hayden Young. Just look at his stats. Around 80 to 90% efficiency. Serves well on the team. Josh Kelly, 34 disposals, elite efficiency, metres gained. Josh Kelly is in that All-Australian conversation right now. He's in mine, but he's got to be there. Noah Anderson, great game. Again, how good is Noah Anderson right now? The biggest downfall of Noah Anderson in the last year and a bit is his ball use. But he's picked that up phenomenally well. He's been great, Noah Anderson. It'd be a wild card had the Suns won more games to be up there in the Brownlow right now. He's been that good, Noah Anderson. Kicked a goal, 30 or 4 possessions, a lot of clearances and score involvements and tackles. And high efficiency. He's getting in no matter what. Andy Brayshaw kicked 2 and 34, back to his best. He did reveal last week, up until last week's game, he had been going through knee issues or hamstring issues that had been hampering him throughout the whole season. And now it's finally starting to get better for him. So very courageous from Andy Brayshaw. I still thought he had some solid games anyway. Again, robbed of Supercoach points. Where are we? Josh Dunkley was the best player on the ground for the Bulldogs. 13 clearances. The score involvements were high. Possessions were high. Now you could say, well, 13 clearances, though, you just got to put him in the midfield, don't you? Yeah, but he played forward as well, and he can play forward. Like, the midfielders I got in the midfield are pure mids. So, therefore, Dunkley's the flexible one. He was awesome, mate, Josh Dunkley. Kicked a goal as well. Awesome. Brady Mychik at 5. Not many goal scorers in that game, in the Collingwood Swans. He was great. 5 goals. Not many high-performing goal kickers in the competition for this round, so he was getting in. So Bailey kicked 4 and 12. Great game. A lot of out the back goals, along with my next guy here, Charlie Cameron. Both had about 14 disposals each. 12 for Bailey, I think 13 for Cameron. So great games, both kicking 4. A lot of them out the back. A lot of it was out of their good work as well. Oscar Allen kicked 4, 15 disposals. Kicked 2 or 3 of those goals in the third quarter when they were coming back to deserve a spot in the team. Malcolm Roses, 4 goals with 9 disposals. Not normally a type of, game where you would get in, but 4 goals, but they were important goals. He was always out the back, always doing great work, crumbing work, good run and pressure, so he deserved a spot in the team. Now, where are we? Ruckman, Tim English, there was a few others. Rowan Marshall only played the whole game. He might have got in, but Goldstein did beat him in the hitouts. When Marshall went off, it was only about 5 more by Goldie, but Tim English was the Ruckman choice for this round. Tom Green, how good is he? 3 goals, 38 disposals. Like, he went in beast mode, Tom Green. He's channeling his Green mate in Toby Green. He's just fantastic. And that's why he was in my rolling All-Australian team last week. And he'll continue to be there. He's a smoky for the Brownlow right now, is Tom Green. Errol Gordon. For a lot of the Swans had a lot of possessions. He was the one that was the most impactful. He was great. His clearances were high. His score involvements were high. Goal assists. Efficiency in wet conditions, I think it was about 74% for Gordon with 34 disposals. He just deserved a spot in the team. The interchange, Darcy Parish at 37. He deserved a spot in there. He's had 20 contested possessions as well. So, yeah, Shai Bolton kicked 3 in around 30. Had to get in. You'd say arguably stiff for the midfield, but then again, the midfielders have got there. He was stiff. I could have put him half forward. I mean, in front of Zach Bailey, I could have, but then he played the majority of the midfield in that game. Matt Rao, who was someone I'll see during the second. So Dion Presti kicked 3 and 23. He had to get in. And Matt Rao and Presti kicked those 3 goals all in the third quarter when the game was in the balance. So he had to get in. And Taranto was the sub. I mean, it was great. Then again, those other midfielders were just as great. And Matt Rao, now you could say, well, maybe Rowley could have replaced. I was debating this on my live streams last night. That Rao, 18 disposals, had 11 clearances, and 15 contested possessions, 6 tackles, 6 score involvements. And he played on Petrarca, who he dominated in that first quarter as well. And he had a solid game throughout the rest. I mean, I was debating it last night, and I was convinced last night that I had to put him in. So he had a great game. 18 disposals. You don't normally see a player, a midfield of 18 disposals get in. But those 18 possessions were better than what some would have had at 30 possessions this round. Not the ones I got in, but the ones outside. So he had to get in. And then the emergencies, Will Powell's the next defender, along with Nick Haynes and McPherson, Chera and Hopper, the next 2 mids. Leave your thoughts down below. My round 8 AFL team of the week. All right, now we'll review round 8. All the way. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me put the graphic up. Don't want to forget the graphic, Scoops. All right. We go all the way back to Friday night at Marvel Stadium. It was the Blues and the Lions. Carlton 74 defeated by the Lions 100. Brisbane by 26. Dunkley was great. Neil was quiet again, which I wasn't happy with. Chera had a good game for the Blues. Bailey and Charlie Cameron, were the best players for that game. And I mean, the Blues got a tough run coming up. So they needed to pinch the win there, and they didn't. So they're still in the 8 for now. We'll have to see how they go this week. Saturday games, Richmond and West Coast. Richmond 104, smashed the Eagles in the end, 58, Richmond 46. It was only in the end that Richmond got the job done. West Coast hit the lead late in the third. It shows how dominant Richmond's last quarter was, but it's the Eagles, and I was expecting that to happen at some point. But for Richmond, I wouldn't be too happy with that win. I really wouldn't be. It took you three quarters to beat West Coast, their waffle team, essentially. So they got 26 players to pick from, for God's sake. And a lot of those players that are out are their best 22 players. You got Nick Nat, McGovern, Liam Ryan, Jamie Cripps. Dom Sheet only just came back this week. Elijah Hewitt, a Young's top draft pick. So they're missing a lot of players. Noah Long. They're missing a lot of players, the Eagles. So got to give them credit for that kind of effort in that game. LB Richmond aren't going well, but it was also at the MCG. Now, talk about the better games of the round. Yeah. Geelong and Adelaide. Geelong 78 defeated the Crows 72 by 26 points. Now, if you just look at the margin, I had some people telling me the game wasn't close. Yes, it was. Geelong kicked 2 goals in the last 2 minutes. So the Crows were in it, and they kept fighting and fighting. They may have been around 2 goals down for most of the game, but they were hanging in there, and they had chances to hit the front. I felt that Tex Walker was kind of robbed of something late in the last quarter where he could have kicked a goal, and they gave a free to Geelong. Geelong just got these exact frees at the right moments, which is annoying. They always do. It's not always a number they get. It's when they get them and where. That's what they get a lot of. But the Crows, Dawson and Laird were pretty good. Geelong had a lot of even contributors. I thought Segler had a dominant half of a Rolly O'Brien in the first half. Then O'Brien took him to the cleaners in the second half. So there's a lot of even contributors. Dangerfield went off of a leg injury. We have to see. As of this recording, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. But yeah, Geelong fans will be sweating on that result for the new captain. Now, the Suns and the Demons. Gold Coast 85, wrongfully defeated by Melbourne 90. Melbourne by 5 points. You're not going to call me salty for this. You can't call me salty. 8 calls, robbed. Robbed right in front of me and everyone watching. Robbed. Screwed. 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 Gold Coast was screwed. Went through this before. Screwed. Ballard. The suspension for Van Rooyen, as I said earlier, 2 weeks suspension. There's appealing. I don't know. It's a tough one to grade, as I said before. Ballard is an important player for them, and probably missed this week, unfortunately. Hopefully he can play this week. If he misses this week, Van Rooyen's not getting off tomorrow night. For Melbourne, Oliver and Petrarca are pretty solid as usual. For the Suns, Anderson, as I said earlier. Awesome. Will Powell, McPherson. I know he missed a goal late. Scholl and Casbolt, those frees I mentioned earlier. Ridiculous. Absolutely freaking ridiculous. Now, we're on to the night games. North GWS and the Western Bulldogs. Toby Green was a laid out of an ankle injury. He's been pushing through all year, apparently. Western Bulldogs were 15 points. GWS 71, 86 the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs got a bit of a margin, but the Giants, to their credit, they started to come back yet again. Tom Green, 3 goals and 38. How good was he? I'm telling you right now, he's got the 3 votes for the round. Spoiled it, but blatantly obvious. He's a man. He's a beast. Talking about these inside bulls. He is an inside bull. He's a star, Tom Green. You can wonder why Richmond and other clubs want him. GWS need to retain Tom Green. They've lost too many good midfielders over the time, Taranto and others over time. Not Copper, but other guys. So, yeah, Tom Green is the one they want to lock away for the long term. Awesome game. Hogan was a bit inaccurate. The Bulldogs, Bonapelli and English were their best 2 players. We move on to the Dockers game. Finally, the Dockers got a win and a statement win. Smashed the Hawks, 117-48 by 69 points in Perth. Andy Brayshaw, 2 goals, 34 was awesome. Hayden Young was good. Luke Ryan was good. Luke Jackson was good. Jago O'Meara was good. A lot of good performances for the Dockers and the Hawks. Outside of Will Day, there wasn't many good contributors at all. And James Sicily, my man, Sis, had a stinker, the skipper. Not much to say. Oh, We'll move on to the next game, the Sunday games. Port Adelaide and the Bombers. This game was... Bombers had a bit of a momentum in the first half. Port grinded their way back. Close game for the rest of the second half after about 10 minutes in the third quarter. The Power get the close win, an important win, keeps them in the top 4 rank contention. The Bombers are now still outside the 8, losing by 5 points, but they didn't have a bad game at all. Parrish was good. For the Power, Butters and Rosie as always. Finlayson was a bit inaccurate. Dixon kicked a few goals in straight succession in the third. But yeah, Andrew Phillips, that was the ending. Had a shot from about 50 to 60 metres out, did Andrew Phillips. Just fell short and went through the bounce about 30 seconds ago. It happens. It just happens. Good game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see this in terms of watching the full game, so disappointed in that, but here we are. We've got to go to other games and this bloody clashes. Like Jared Waitley said, we don't want games clashing. Stop games clashing! And stop putting games on at the same time. Don't have 2 Saturday night games at the same time. Don't have 2 afternoon games on Saturdays right next to each other and on Sundays. Bring back Thursday night footy. Every week. Every week. Every week. Could even put... They're trialling 2 Friday night games this week, which they can kind of do that a bit more too. If there's one slot they need to bring back weekly is Thursday nights, that cancels out one of those Saturday night games clashing with each other. I think the times they should be on Saturdays are 1:10, 3:10, 5:10, and 7:40. They should be the time slots. That's 4 games there. Thursday night, Friday night, 6. The 3 Sunday games, you could have them at 12, 10, 2:10, and 5:10. That's what they should do. What do you think? Comment down below. We'll move on to the Pies and Swans clash. I mean, it was a close game. I'm going to get the game back up. The Swans, 77 for the Pies, defeated the Swans 48, Collingwood 29. Myercheck got a few goals late, so I mean, the margin looks worse than it was. The Swans are up as well, similar to the Bombers, really. They were up for most of the game, just the last quarter a little bit. So, I mean, Daicos as well. I talked about the treatment earlier. I'm not going to repeat it. Same with the buddy booing. It's ridiculous. But Swans, Mills, Parker, Gordon, and Fox were great for the Pies. Pendlebury was pretty solid, but outside of that, there wasn't many and Myercheck, obviously. Wasn't any other major contributors. Now the Saints and the Roos. St Kilda 64, North Melbourne 34. We're getting all those scores. Saints by 30 points. I mean, this has always been our problem. I said earlier, if it was anything under 30 points, I won't be happy. Now, the way it played out, all the missed behind, you could say they could have made it better, but North missed 2. Cal Wookie was the sole reason why we won. Sinclair was good as well. My man Philippo was pretty solid as well. And Ryan Birds was okay, but wasn't a great performance at all. I was very disappointed how we played. It was terrible. Skills were shit. We played like we were North Melbourne. It wasn't good. Need to lift a game this week against the Crows. Because that'll be tough. And that's in Adelaide. That's on Sunday as well. We'll get to that soon. Now, let's go through the Scoops medal and reenacted like the great Gillan McLaughlin. Round 8, Carlton v Brisbane. Brisbane, Zed Bailey, 1 vote. Brisbane, C. Cameron, 2 votes. Brisbane, J. Dunkley, 3 votes. Richmond v West Coast. Richmond, T. Taranto, 1 vote. Richmond, D. Prestia, 2 votes. Richmond, S. Bolton, 3 votes. Geelong v Adelaide. Adelaide, Al Murphy, 1 vote. Adelaide, R. Laird, 2 votes. Adelaide, J. Dawson, 3 votes. Gold Coast v Melbourne. Gold Coast, M. Rao, 1 vote. Gold Coast, M. Roses, 2 votes. Gold Coast, N. Anderson, 3 votes. GWS v Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs, M. Bontempelli, 1 vote. GWS, J. Kelly, 2 votes. GWS, Tom Green, 3 votes. Fremantle v Hawthorn. Fremantle, Al Jackson, 1 vote. Fremantle, J. O'Meara, 2 votes. Fremantle, A. Brayshaw, 3 votes. Port Adelaide v Essendon. Port Adelaide, C. Rosé, 1 vote. Essendon, D. Parrish, 2 votes. Port Adelaide, Z. Butters, 3 votes. Collingwood v Sydney. Collingwood, B. Myercheck, 1 vote. Sydney, L. Parker, 2 votes. Sydney, E. Goulden, 3 votes. North Melbourne v St Kilda. St Kilda, M. Filippo, 1 vote. St Kilda, J. Sinclair, 2 votes. St Kilda, C. Wilkie, 3 votes. The leaderboard after round 8 is as follows. In equal 3rd place on 10 votes, Tom Green and Jeremy Cameron. In equal 2nd place on 11 votes, Rory Laird and Toby Green. In equal 1st place now, all on 14 votes, Nick Daicos, Jack Sinclair, and Clayton Oliver. Leave your thoughts down below of my Six Medal votes and what you would have changed. There's a leaderboard, as I said. You can read it there for yourself. Tom Green and Jeremy Cameron on 10, Toby Green and Rory Laird on 11, and equal first on 14, Clayton Oliver, Nick Daicos, and Jack Sinclair. 3 votes in the Lions game was a Josh Dunkley. In the Eagles game, it was Shai Bolton. In the Cats game, it was Jordan Dawson. In the Suns game, it was Noah Anderson. In the Giants game, it was Tom Green. In the Dockers game, it was Andy Brayshaw. In the Power game, it was Zach Butters. Collingwood game, it was Errol Goulden. Saints game, it was Kel Wilkie. So, yeah. Leave your thoughts down below of my team of the week. Sorry, I'm Scoops Medal. So I'm getting thrown off and just getting messages at the same time. Apologies. All right. Now it's time to go through my Supercoach talk. This round, I scored 2,228. I'm now in the top 25%. Decent score, but again, these underperforming midfielders, underperforming premiums are pissing me off. Laird didn't score great. Neil, 60-something. Again, what the flip? Ashcroft, 37. What the hell? Sicily, what the hell? 60s. Will Day, 80-odd. Robbed. Like, DeGoey, what the flip? Then, Canelio, what the hell? Like, it's just, and I still scored 2,228. And I dropped a percent from top 24 to top 25. Just out of the top 24%. Like, I don't know. I've got 2 boost trades left. I don't know if I should be using them again. I'm feeling like structurally I need to do that to bump rookies down to like people like Blake Drury, Josh Weddle, people like that I'm considering. I'm going to go through what trades I've done in a second so far, but that could easily change. Then I thought, DeGoey's pissing me off now. So I upgrade him. Do I do it purely because then I'm just kind of doing a sideways trade kind of. But I feel like my biggest weakness is my premiums aren't Supercoach-wise averaging the best. Like they're getting solid around the 100 marks. There's an odd one that's going well, like Oliver and Nick Daicos. But then you got who also had a quiet score. But then I'm missing out on the people like Petrarca, Sarong, Anderson, Bonampelli. Those players that are scoring really high in Supercoach. We know Bonampelli gets gifted points, just didn't even get 30 touches basically, and he got 180 odd again, 160 odd. It's just ridiculous. So that's why I'm trying to think if I should get him in for that reason alone. So this players Petrarca as well is in the same boat. So this is what I've come to the conclusion of so far. I made 2 trades as of right now, so I've still got the 2 boosts. What I've done is the following. I've traded out Jacob Van Rooyen, not because he's suspended, because I just want to make some more money. And Caminiti's back for the bench this week, so should hopefully can get in to help his points go up, his price go up. So I've traded Van Rooyen out to Blake Drury. I know he's played 1 game, but just want to get Van Rooyen now. make some cash so I can make this next upgrade, which I'm about to tell you. Traded out Jordan Daicos. Now, brought in, I couldn't get Bonampally. I was getting someone around 650. And what I've chosen with, I've gone through Anderson, I've gone through Sarong, gone through some other guys around there, but the person I went with is Christian Petrarca, averaging 122. I need to get more of those plays in that top echelon of average. Like, I got good midfielders that are averaging 100, 109-ish between that. But I need those ones above that to keep my score going. And Daicos, it's a bit of a sideways trend. I don't like doing it. But Daicos can get the 120s, but he can also score the 80s and 60s. So now it's time to give him the boot. So Petrarca, I feel it's a good upgrade. I've got about 54k left over too. I didn't write that on the graphic here, but I got 54k left over. So I can make a third trade, which could be a downgrade, but then I've got only one boost left. Or do I just do another downgrade next week, then have about 190, and then I upgrade Will Ashcroft, because that's what I'm looking at doing. So, well, not even 190, it might be. So then I go at 370 for Ashcroft, plus, let's just say another 100,000. Yeah, then that just works our way out. I'm debating that third trade still, and it could impact these two trades I've done. So, like, it might not end up being Petrarca, but then again, do I get rid of Daicos? I'm still debating Ashcroft. Not so much for him alone, is who I can get for him. I'm not going to trade him just to trade him. I want to get someone upgrade for him that I want to get, not someone I'm like, they're all right. Like people like Butters and that I like, but I don't know. I need to get those top echelon guys, as I said. So that's why I've got Petrarca right now. My plan probably will be next week to trade Ashcroft, do a downgrade in the second trade, and for Ashcroft, I get the Bonampally names, the Sarong names, Noah Anderson, those type of names. Not around the Butters range where they're going well, but they have their off game, or just hundreds. I want the guys that are getting around the 130s as an average, basically. They're the guys I want to be trying to get, and Truck is the start of that. So let me know what you would do, but this is my team right now. The backline, Dawson, Sinclair, Sicily, Nick Daicos, Will Day, and Alex Sincotta. Happy with that backline. Bench Charlie Constable and Lockie Cowan. Hopefully Cowan can get back bloody in, so he can go up a little bit, and then I can piss him off out of the team. Midfielders, Laird, Brayshaw, Oliver, Neal, Rosie, Petrarca, Ashcroft, and my man Filippo. Hopefully I can get rid of Ashcroft soon and have less rookies. Because I got 5 rookies overall on the field. 6 if you want to include Sheasel. In the midfield bench, Angwin, Roberts, Johnson. It's a shame they're both injured. Suspended. Johnson's gone. Oh no, Johnson's back this week, I think. Yeah, he's back for the Dockers. Yes. Hopefully he can get in and move up in price for me. Witsy and Marshall the ruckman, then more of the bench. Forwards, Dunkley, Zeeble, Cornelio, Sheasel, Chandler, Seamus Mitchell. Bench, Blake Drury, and Anthony Caminiti. Still got, as I said, if you want to count, there's 3 rookies if you want to include Sheasel, but I'm not going to include Sheasel as a rookie now. So Chandler and Seamus Mitchell, Filippo and Brayshaw, and Sincotta. So I got 5. It's probably to me. I've seen someone that got team of the round scored well. He only has 3 rookies on field. That is what I'm trying to do here. And he's got some of those good midfielders, premium ones, those top echelon of average. Not just necessarily good midfielders, but the ones that's going up top. So I've got to try and aim to that. And I've got to do it now. That's why I'm just considering do the boost. In the buy rounds, it's generally where I used to use the boost, but really, the buy rounds, you just kind of suffer, really. I mean, and then I've also got to be careful of the trades I got left. I think I've got around 20 odd trades left if I do the third trade. So I just got to be mindful of that as well. I like to always save trades to the back end. But then again, if I want to go up the rankings, I need to make these moves now. I can't just hold it. So we want to keep an eye out on there. So recapping, in Petrarca and Blake Drury for now, out Jordan Daicos and Jacob Van Rooyen. All right, now it's time to preview round 9. Remember to leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on the bell for all notifications. We're aiming for 20 likes in this video. Hopefully we're getting there, so please go smash the like button. I'll be in the comment section viewing this stuff. A preview round 9, sorry. Round 9. All right, let me get that graphic up. So again, now I'm getting phone calls, just bear with me. All right, preview round 9. The double Friday night game, which is interesting. Friday, May 12th. Richmond hosting the Cats. I'm going for Geelong, 7:20 at the MCG this is. Now, the late game in Perth, 8:40 Victorian time. On Friday night, it's the Eagles hosting the Suns. The Suns will get a big win there. And Geelong should beat Richmond pretty easily as well. On Saturday, the Swans host the Dockers at the SCG 145 big time. I'm going for the Swans there. 2:10 on Saturday, Roos hosting the Power in Tassie at Bluntstone Arena. This is the Horn Francis game. This will be interesting to see how they go this week. I'm tipping the Power though. Twilight on Saturday, 4:35. Hawks hosting the Demons. I'll be going the Demons there. 7:25 at the Gabba on Saturday night. The Lions hosting the Bombers. I'll be going for Brisbane by about 20 points. Saturday night at Marvel Stadium is the Blues hosting the Bulldogs. 7:30. I'll be tipping. I'll give Carlton a go here. I'll give Carlton a go to bounce back because Bulldogs defence is pretty scratchy, if you ask me. Outside of their midfielders, Norton and Waitman, the rest of the team is pretty useless. English, the midfield, Norton, Waitman, good. Rest, crap. So I'm going for Carlton with their great side they got, even though they're underperforming. Right now, they need this to probably stay in the 8 if Essendon were to win against Brisbane, which I don't think so, but you never know. And the side's just below them. Sunday, Adelaide Oval, 1:10 Victorian time on Sunday. It's the Crows hosting my Saints. All hail the King. Max King will be back. I'm obviously going to be tipping my Saints, but this is going to be a tough ask against the Crows in Adelaide. Final game of the round, of round 9, will be the Pies hosting the Giants at the MCG, 4:40 Victorian time. I'm tipping the Pies. The Giants will get Toby Green back, we think and hope, and it'll be very interesting to see how they end up performing there. My final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, cameo.com/CooperG. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, head to cameo.com/CooperG. And please subscribe if you haven't already and hit a like, smash that like button. Put a like on this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Cost you guys absolutely nothing. Donations are available if you'd like to do that. Become a member, anything like that at all. I'm trying to get more guests on the show, guys. I'm still putting in that effort to try and get more. I'm not getting much luck lately. Talking to some, so we'll see how it eventuates. If you want to see me interview anyone, message me on Instagram, AFL Info Live, or Facebook, AFL Information, Trade Rumors and Results, and go subscribe to my Facebook and Instagram pages too. I would greatly appreciate that. Would really, really appreciate it. Thank you all. Until next week, everyone, have a great one. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints. And, of course, acknowledge me, the one, your tribal chief, Cooper Gretsch.